With the return of Godzilla to movie theaters, we had to pay respect to the big fella by making a top 10 Godzilla monster list. Now the opinions are based on Horror Squad and Horror Squad alone. If you disagree with anybody on this list, please list below in the comment section what monster you would put on the list and what monster you would take off the list. Rodan first emerged in 1956 when a group of miners that were digging underground on a mountainside found a giant egg. When the giant egg hatched open, a huge red pterodactyl monster was born, Rodan. It should be noted that Mothra has her own franchise. She first started off in her own movie before appearing in the Godzilla movies. None of the monsters on this list has the success rate that Mothra has defeating Godzilla. Granted, she's had help every time. On Infant Island, she is worshipped as a goddess by her followers. Now, she only causes destruction when she's acting as a protector to her followers or protecting Earth from a greater threat. Godzilla! Mothra is the most popular monster among females. Godzilla's cells somehow flew through space and fell into a black hole and mutated into a life form, which then came out of a white hole, and at last, Space Godzilla is born. It is not known for certain what caused the cells to go through space. Space Godzilla is one of the most intelligent monsters out of Godzilla's foes. Just like Godzilla, ANGUIRUS was a dinosaur awoken by the nuclear test. ANGUIRUS was actually the first monster that Godzilla ever faced, but he's best known to be Godzilla's trusty ally. ANGUIRUS' abilities include curling himself into a ball and throwing himself forward, with his spikes all hanging out. Watch out, monsters, that's gotta hurt. After the Oxygen Destroyer went off in 1954 and destroyed the original Godzilla, at the same time it revived and mutated a group of crustaceans. Years later, it would become the big monster known as Destroya. This is the one monster Godzilla could not defeat without the help of the military. What's this? Could this be another Godzilla clone? Nah. Created by Dr. Shiragami, who spliced DNA mix of his dead daughter, a rose bush, and lastly Godzilla's cells. What would come from the fuse would be a big rose bush monster that would become Biollante. After being destroyed by Godzilla, her seeds would fly up to space, which would later on create, most likely, Space Godzilla. Created as an alien cyborg monster, summoned to Earth by a race of aliens, to of course what else but to conquer Earth. Lucky for us, Gigan has to go through Godzilla. My favorite Gigan cyborg form has to be from Godzilla's Final Wars. Not only do I love the new modification look that he got in this movie, you gotta check out the battle between him and Mothra as they fight to the death. When Godzilla was destroyed in 1954, different monsters would pop up and start attacking Japan. Once Godzilla was reborn, that's when the Japanese government threw their hands up in the air and decided to build a Mecha Godzilla. This is the third Mecha Godzilla, aka Kiru. Kiru happens to be my favorite Mecha Godzilla out of the three. I mean, look at his shoulders. Come on, you can't tell me that isn't badass. Kiru's purpose is to defend Japan from who else but Godzilla himself. King Ghidorah has many different origins, but pretty much all of them have King Ghidorah being controlled by aliens or future time travelers. My favorite origin story involves the future time travelers, which are really terrorists who have come to destroy Japan. They set down 3 little bat-like creatures on the same island that Godzilla was exposed to nuclear radiation. The 3 bat-like creatures would fuse and then become King Ghidorah. You know, with a name like King Ghidorah, he's coming to challenge the King of the Monsters. Who else could be number 1 but the King of Monster himself, Godzilla? After a fallout from a nuclear radiation test on an island, a prehistoric, violent, enormous sea monster known as a Gonzalosaurus, I kid you not, transformed and mutated into what we know as Godzilla. As a result of surviving a nuclear explosion, it cannot be destroyed by anything less powerful. Godzilla can breathe underwater, And of course, its signature weapon is the atomic breath. On May 16, make sure to check out the return of the King of the Monsters himself, Godzilla 2014.